Can you name 2 or 3 actions taken by the Biden administration that you oppose or you would overturn if you were elected president in 2024?
Wow. Well, right now I oppose the Inflation Reduction Act, and the reason is because it didn't reduce inflation at all. It still had too much spending on it. One of the big problems that we have with spending is that it has a lagging effect, and that is inflation. So whenever we are spending more than we're bringing in, we have to print money to pay those bills, and that extra money coming in our systems caused us to be the pain we're in today. Certainly trying to do that. I'd have a different approach in resolving the war in Ukraine. I believe that we should stand for freedom. I believe in standing with Ukraine, but eventually we have to lead stronger. Since we as Americans are paying for the majority of this bill, I would really demand NATO to pay out a much bigger bill than they're paying right now. I'd also be speaking with Putin directly and leading both parties with dignity and strength to end this war as soon as possible.
Okay. You said that you want to balance the federal budget, a feat that's only been accomplished by President Johnson in 1969 and then by President Clinton from 1998 to 2001. So the Committee for a Responsible Budget estimated that to balance the budget by 2033, in 10 years, it would take about $16 trillion. Without tax increases, defense cuts, or cutting Medicare or Social Security, that means that you would have to reduce the federal budget by 70%. How would you balance that federal budget?
Well, the way we can do it too is not just reducing the federal budget that much. I really think the federal budget has automatic risers in it. So there's one thing that's in our system that needs to be changed, is that we no longer need to have just automatic risers that go into all the social programs that we have. I think we need to get back to zero-based budgeting. The other thing we need to do is we need to reform healthcare completely. So a big part of our budget is healthcare, Medicare and Medicaid. Those need to be cleaned up, and the reason is because they're taking over the entire budget. So if we put a competitive landscape in, reduce the monopoly structures that are there today, allow more competition, price visibility, put the patients back in charge. Also with Big Pharma, right now these big pharmaceutical companies, we allow them to have much longer patent life than any other nation in the world. So they have, in America, the big drugs have 15 to 20 years more lengthened patents, and we just allow them to do that. So we have to compete fairly across the globe. We have to bring those back in line, and when we do, we'll see our budgets fall back in line.
Currently, respectfully, you don't make the threshold for appearing on the stage at the upcoming GOP debates in a couple of weeks. But the GOP has instigated a candidate pledge for those debates, saying that all candidates participating in those debates should support the eventual nominee. Would you make that promise to support the eventual Republican nominee?
Yes, I would. Yes, I would. And we plan on getting on that debate stage. Right now, our donor base is increasing quite a bit. We just hit 1,000 donor base yesterday, or 1,000 donors yesterday, I should say. And now we're on track. So if we keep doing 1,000 a day, we should be pretty close to being that amount. And that's our goal, to hit those goals before the first debate.
Okay. You've called the southern border crisis complex and convoluted, and also a humanitarian crisis. And you've said that you're in favor of sealing the U.S.-Mexican border with a wall. Around 2/3 of that border lies on private state or owned private land that the federal government would need to acquire through purchase or seizure, eminent domain. And even then, conservative estimates put the price tag of a wall at $20 million a mile, $11 billion total. How do you see that as a prudent investment to build a wall?
Just for clarity, and if I wasn't clear before, I mean this. I really mean security across the whole border, which may mean barriers, it may mean towers with technology and people nearby, to where we can see things that are coming across and really secure our border. So it's not going to be a wall across the whole manner, but it might be towers every 10 miles where we can watch things. Right now, it's just an open border in many places, and so we have to secure it. I think it will need funding. I am supporting the Dignity Act, which was brought up by Representative Maria Salazar out of Florida, and it's a first ever Republican-led plan in decades, and this will do just that. It'll secure the border, but it's done through funds, through penalties and fines and taxes from the workers that are here and that want to be a part of the Dignity program.
Okay. Who were some of your political heroes and why?
Wow. Ronald Reagan, Abraham Lincoln, so many others, but I really love the way Lincoln led in the most difficult time where our country was the most divided. It was a time in history where we were at a place where our country was being torn apart. And one thing he didn't do is, even as he was leading our country to healing, he didn't vilify everyone in it. And I think that's a great leadership trait. Reagan was another one, and it was because he transcended the party. You know, in his second term, he got 59% of the vote, but he did it by leading people well. He defeated some of the greatest Axis powers of our day, but he also led and connected to the hearts of people.
Can you name some political leaders that didn't ever ascend to the presidency that you have a fondness for, or that you look up to?
Well, there's several, I would think, so many people in state legislators, and there's patriots all over. So I don't know, aside from just naming one person, I would say this: anybody that serves their community, their school board, is a hero to me. Giving back in your community, giving time is such a patriotic thing to do. So I'll just leave it at that.
I don't have a specific question relating to healthcare, so I'll just let you tell me what you see as flawed in the current healthcare system and what you would do to fix it if you were elected.
Healthcare is so broken. So it's broken because we have 40% higher inflation than regular inflation for the last 20 years. And so we've left it unguarded. We have to bring back competition, price visibility, transparency of services. We pay twice as much as any other developed nation, but we're not even in the top 20 in patient outcomes per dollar. So we have to fix this. I believe we can fix it through competition. We need to get rid of the insurance exchange monopolies and be able to provide more competition in every state. We also have, as I mentioned earlier, get rid of the patent extensions that we have on so many pharmaceutical drugs. And we have to have competition there for doctors and as well to compete again. 30 years ago, doctors used to compete with hospitals. Now hospitals own 75% of the doctors in our nation. They work for them now. So they're not really patient advocates, they're hospital advocates. We have to flip that back. And when we put the patient back in charge again, we'll have cost in line.
Okay. You've been going through Iowa. How does Iowa nice compare to the Texas grit that that I'm sure you're probably used to?
So Iowa's been just an amazing experience. First of all, I caught it at a great time to be in Iowa summer versus Texas summer. So it's been great to be here. We've been to, we'll be at 60 counties here in the next week or so. And so we're hitting a lot of Iowa, talking to people, and they've been very welcome, hearing a new message. Many Iowans are ready to move forward, and that's what our message is. It's time to unite our country, look ahead to solve our biggest problems, and we can do this if we do it together.
Between 1976 and 2016, I'm mentioning that only 3 out of 8 Republican winners of the Iowa caucus have gone on to receive the Republican presidential nomination. So do you still support Iowa's first in the nation status as a Republican? The caucuses?
Absolutely, I do. It's been a great experience for me so far, and it's not just about winning. One thing Iowa does too is they actually help eliminate part of the field. So our goal in Iowa is not just to win Iowa, but to outperform. And many people haven't heard of our message yet, and as we have, finish in the top 2 or 3 and get our message out there. Because once we do that, we're going to be on the scene a lot more. So Iowa is a great place because you don't have to be a billionaire, you don't have to spend $1 billion or have a nationally known name to come in here and talk to Iowans about the real issues. And they're listening to us, and we're sharing ideas together, and so it's been taking root, and I'm really excited about it.
Polls right now show a 35 to 40 point lead by former President Trump, and 538 poll actually just put him at 58%. So what's your path to the nomination?
Well, our path to nomination is keep doing what we're doing. 2 years ago, Trump had 100% of that vote, and now it's dwindled down to where it is. And so I believe this: the more people hear our message and how we're going to unite our country, get back our strength fiscally, solve the healthcare crisis, come up with a real solution for the border, and also just have a Republican message for urban America. Right now, Trump lost 46 of the top 50 cities in the last election by population. He only won 46% of the vote. I'm telling Republicans, I'm telling Iowans, we have to go beyond 46. We have to go beyond 46% of the vote, and we have to win big cities again. We can no longer lose 46 of the top 50. We're going to have to break that barrier. And our plan to reach into urban America and show them that they can have jobs again, show them how to have trades again, have mentors and volunteers with college students coming to urban America, teaching kids how to read, write, and do math. We're going to start winning the heart of America, and that's how we're going to win.
Okay. And finally, you said that you support a change in the rhetoric and a dropping of the swords when it comes to LGBTQ issues. And you said that you support America's daughter's right to change privately. But isn't this a misrepresentation? No trans people that I know are willing or want to infringe on other people's rights to change. And you said you supported Governor Kim Reynolds in her bathroom bill and that kind of stuff. But trans people I know, they're just mainly fighting for their right to exist. How would you address the what you say is the tough rhetoric?
Well, when I say this, what I'm saying is this: we may never agree on that ideology as far as somebody's rights in that particular area. I do think this: if my girls wanted to compete in school in a sport, I think they should be competing in a sport with people of their biological sex. Period. I think they should be able to change privately. Many people are not fully transitioned in any sort of way, especially at the high school level or college. So I'm talking about people that are teenagers today. I think it's an invasion of their privacy. So I'm asking people if they want us to respect their decision and how they want to live, I can do that, but can you respect the decision of some young people's privacy? So to me, it's just a matter of respect going back both ways.
And talk about the themes of your campaign and faith and freedom.
Our campaign is about turning back to God and to each other. I think recognizing this, that we're all one family. This is the big vision I have. I believe this as a Christian, and regardless if somebody's a Christian or not, an atheist even, or whether we agree with each other, Democrats or Republicans, or far left or right, I believe we all have the same Father. So what does that mean? That means that I think we're all family, brothers and sisters at some level, and even though we may disagree on some things, we can treat each other with respect. We can agree to disagree on a few things, but also focus on the things we can't agree on. We're all Americans. We all love our country. We want to see it to be a graceful, peaceful place for us all to thrive. We may have different ideas on that, but it doesn't mean that I'm your enemy or you're mine. It just means we need to start working together for a better America.
Great. Mr. Binkley, thank you very much for spending time with me.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
Thanks again.